one of the worst touches of horror that they have in here is a big old muscle-bound dude that looks like a surgeon right here with his mouth shut tight. That comes sewn up right there. They call him Dr. Torture. And this mother.
Yeah, hey man, they spent a lot of time coming up with that name.
They look like Dr. Torture.
Wow.
You can tell by the scrubs. People, we're about to get into our review for Fantasy Island.
There you go.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Smiles, goddammit. Show some teeth. Man, don't growl.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's a little too much. But listen, the show Fantasy Island, which what did that come out in 1978, something like that?
Something like that.
1978,
Yeah.
I believe. It was a
late 70s show.
It was a late 70s show. I believe it was 1978. I'm going to tell you, it was not a great show at all. It only got by because it was on a night when nobody had anything else to watch.
It was on a Saturday night. It would come on after the Love Boat.
After the Love Boat, that's right. But I will tell you that this show had two things going for it. These two things probably made people watch this show. They probably saved this show. One thing that it had a cool-ass Mexican in that fly-ass suit right there. You know, and it also had a cool-ass French midget. You know, that little midget that would come out. We talked about this the other day. He come out, they make his little ass walk that tower. They put that little midget to work, man. They have his little legs go up that tower. They were almost wrong for that, man.
Well, let's just give him something to do.
Tattoo.
He keeps running around.
Man, so they made this. So Tattoo was the name of the French midget there, and Tattoo was cool too, man. Tattoo had honeys back in the day and everything, man. Tattoo was a player. This show got him so much ass, man, but he worked for it. So his legs about this big right here, and they could have had a bell on the ground that he run, but they put that shit in the tower Quasimodo style, and made those little legs climb those 3 stories to ring that heavy ass bell. I like the way they pull out so they can show you how much they put his little ass to work. Look at that.
It's going to take him a while to get back down.
Yeah. They made him climb a castle tower right there. Shit, if I would know, I was a dragon up there waiting for me. And he get up there just as tired as hell and yell those famous lines. The plane! You know, it's funny too, man, because a lot of people, they don't know what to call whether to call him a little person or a midget. Because I know it sounded like I was the one that was being racist the other day. Insensitive. And turns out that he actually, Hervé Villechaize. So the two characters that played Mr. Rourke and Tattoo, you had Ricardo Montalban and Hervé Villechaize. And Hervé, he actually preferred the term midget.
Yeah, because that was that was the term up until just the last 20 years.
Yeah, he thought, like I was saying, he thought dwarf was kind of like, I ain't no mythical creature. You know? But you know, this show was also more of a drama fantasy.
Yeah.
Back at the time. You know, being that this was a TV show on Saturday nights in the 70s, no one ever brought those dark ass fantasies. Nobody ever wanted an orgy. You know, nobody ever said, "Hey, you know, can I murder my ex-husband?" You know,
right. It was always old aging TV or movie stars who didn't get work anymore, who would have a fantasy of getting back with their high school girlfriend.
Yeah,
and sometimes it would work out, and sometimes it wouldn't.
It was always some love theme. You know, now it's 40 years later, 4 decades later. You know, we living in much different times.
Oh, yeah.
At this point.
You can't be soft now.
No, you can't be soft. Hell, kids listening to songs on the radio talking about lift your ass up and put your crack out and all that kind of stuff. You know?
Is that a song?
That's a song. By me. That's actually several songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a different time. Kids are watching The Walking Dead on TV.
Right.
It's on a Sunday night. So, you know, we can't have none of these soft-ass love stories anymore. Blumhouse, they said, you know, let's go ahead and explore those darker fantasies. Let's see what happens when people want to, torture people. That's part of their fantasy on Fantasy Islands. Let's see what happens when somebody, wants to put themselves in the middle of danger. And that is what we have here with this new Fantasy Island. What if people brought in these darker, more complex fantasies with all these dark repercussions that somehow, maybe, border on the fringes of horror? You know what? Let's make it a straight up horror movie.
Was it life you always dreamt of?
I want to take you to the Blumhouse room. There you go, ting, and those doors would open. You'd be like, "Oh no. Come on."
Yeah, you better watch Paranormal Activity. No, this ain't my fantasy. That's my nightmare. Let me out.
I'll kill you, Rourke.
Hey, bitch. Boo. I do want to tell you that this is being pitched as a more darker version of Fantasy Island, which in some cases it is, but they make it seem like Fantasy Island never went to those dark areas, which they did.
They did.
Shit, they even had Mr. Rourke actually go up against the devil.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, Cornelius, who was it as the devil?
I don't remember.
Oh, you will when you see it. But yeah, he on the original Fantasy,
didn't they have a big light
Roddy
fight?
McDowell.
Oh, Roddy McDowell.
Roddy McDowell. They actually had Mr. Rourke go up against the devil himself.
How will you take Mrs. Bream?
And let me just tell you something. I'll tell you, that's a smooth ass Mexican right there.
Yeah.
He's even too smooth for Satan.
You are forbidden to touch the unborn child. So, if you cannot take all, you take nothing.
God damn, this motherfucker good.
I know. His science is too tight.
God damn, that's a smooth ass Mexican. Wow. He couldn't say nothing like shit.
And mate.
And Mr. Rourke like, yeah, bitch, I'm going somewhere.
Wow.
Rourke! See, that's what I noticed is immediately missing from this movie, man. The movie had the charisma's missing from the show.
Dude, Michael Pena sucks.
Man,
I mean, not in life, not in general, but in this movie, he's awful.
Sure.
No, first of all, before I even get into Michael Pena and Mr. Rourke, shit, I know what y'all thinking. We got to be careful, but we needed that midget, man. I'm sorry, and I'm sticking to this. We needed a midget tattoo in here, and because what we have right here, because what they try to do is they try to actually have a replacement for tattoo in the beginning. Like they have that chick Parisa Fitz-Henley, like you see at the beginning, kind of being the role of tattoo. The plane. It's like, nah, man, you ain't no tattoo. I'm sorry. And she's fine. She's fine as hell. But in this movie, she ain't got no personality. None. She's there for nothing. She's there. By the time we do get into something with her, it's done. It's like, don't even try now. On out here with that. We needed a midget in that little Easter Sunday suit right there. And I'm gonna tell you why, because y'all think I'm
a Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, she is. Serving little nuggets and shit. Because y'all think I'm being mean, and I'm not. I meant what I said, that they need a midget in here. And I tell you why. It's not the most ideal movie for it, but man, there's hardly any roles for little people out there.
It's true.
Yeah.
At all. And this could have been, at least y'all could have got somebody paid. Y'all could have, you know what I'm saying? Y'all could have given some work to a little person, man. And you know what I mean? Because you think about it, with little people, man, even their roles are going to the full-size people now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
one-
true.
They're
one-
getting outsourced.
CG has made it to where even a little person can't get no work when the roles are meant for them.
Yeah.
Look at Lord of the Rings right there. You know what I'm saying?
It's Peter Dinklage or bust. If we can't get him, can't get anybody. Doesn't
Peter
even matter.
Dinklage got a monopoly.
He really does.
On this.
Warwick Davis had it for a while, but then Peter Dinklage came in
He
Game
sure
of
did.
Thrones. He went, wow,
Well, that's right. Warwick Davis can't do number Leprechaun movies
That's
now.
right.
And if they really need a black midget, they got that one black midget out there. Forgot his name.
Tony's, God, forget his last name.
Yeah, but
Government
yeah,
scene.
man, I kind of mean that. They could have given some work to somebody who needs it, but you're right. listen, no, Michael.
I mean, I like I said, I'm not saying in general because there's plenty of things I like it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not this.
Yes, Michael Pena, man. Let me be nice about this. Michael, y'all look at Michael Pena right there. Y'all can tell just by looking at his head. This fool, I'm sorry, no disrespect at all. He's a very handsome man. And he's very good in movies, but he ain't no Ricardo Montalban.
No, he's sloppy.
I'm no Ricardo Montalban. It takes a rare person to be that level of smooth.
You need like an Antonio Banderas.
You needed You needed an Antonio Banderas, but he's Spanish, right? Yeah. So I was thinking, if you really want to, if you really want to keep it in the family, get you something like Diego Luna.
Good choice.
Oh.
Get yourself in, and I took him in that suit right there, like, but Diego Luna's like, I ain't been in this shit.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just even when the words came out of your mouth, I'm like, are you sure about that?
Diego Luna looked at this and he said, you know what? You better get Michael Pena. Because ain't no smooth ass Mexican gonna be in this shit right here. That fool probably will be, but not
Well, maybe they could have pulled somebody up from the telenovela leagues.
Something. But this, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Michael Pena, man. Michael Pena's a handsome guy. Michael Pena's been in some movies where he has been smooth. He has been the guy, like the ladies' man and whatnot. And I bought it.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he has.
The one time was Chips, and you did not. None of us bought that.
I think at the very least he's been charming. I wouldn't say smooth.
He's been charming, but not
trying to help him out.
Good and goddamn well. The one time he tried to do that was in Chips, and we kept laughing. That was our biggest criticism of that movie.
And I said he's miscasting that shit. I'm trying to help you, brother. I'm trying to help you, man, because this movie did you wrong. The movie did you wrong, man. Look, you shouldn't have been in the first goddamn place.
They did him wrong by casting him.
They did him wrong
by gassing him up and telling him, no, you got this, man.
Yeah.
You Rico Suave.
I'm trying to help you, man. The movie did him wrong. I tell you how, man.
Good evening. I am Mr. Rourke, the ambassador to your...
Look at this his bag-ass suit.
Yeah, his baggy suit, untucked. Yeah. Even when he says it, I'm the ambassador of the island. Like, he don't even believe it. Yeah. Like, well, they told me I'm the ambassador of this island.
What's your fantasy? A suit that fits?
At least ironed it.
At least ironed it, yeah. Looking like he's wearing bed sheets and shit, You couldn't wish for a tailor or a Man's Warehouse or something on the island? Really? Y'all put him in his baggy ass suit.
Yeah, man. Ricardo Montalban had it dressed down with 3-piece, a vest, a tie, and everything. Mm-hmm. And he just rolls out of bed like his plane just landed.
Yeah. Oh shit! I gotta get to work. Well, welcome to Fantasy Island, y'all. Shit. You know how kids, when daddy's gone, they like a 7-year-old will go into daddy's closet and wear his clothes and be waiting on daddy at the door when they get
Little Bill shoes.
Yeah. Look, daddy, I'm going to work like you. Boy, take my shit off.
Before you get it dirty.
Before you get the shit dirty.
There is only one fantasy per guest, and 2, you must see your fantasy through to its natural conclusion.
You know what? All them rules. Later on in the movie, they don't even go. They laid out those rules carefully. There's one part in here. If y'all want me to spoil the movie for you, and you want us to spoil the movie, we will. I'm gonna do it anyway. So don't listen if you don't want Fantasy Island spoiled for you. Come on, really, y'all? But they do not abide by those rules at all when it's convenient. So, but they got all these other forgettable characters in here, man. The moment they get off this plane, you don't give a f about these people. Fantasies are silly ass fantasies they got here. One makes sense especially for a horror movie. Lucy Hale, the girl on the right, short hair blonde, dirty blonde right there. You saw in the trailer, she wants revenge on her high school bully. Austin Stoll, that's the guy in the middle right there. He wants to be brave like daddy, out there.
Yeah, he wants to be a soldier.
He wants to be a soldier so he can prove his worth to his father. Maggie Q, there was a moment that she regrets in life that could have brought up much happiness, so she was trying to go in and fix that.
She could have married Billy.
Yeah. She said no, and she probably should have said yeah, so let me go back and fix that out there. And these two idiots right here. You can tell they just want to party. You can tell they the most shallow mother when they.
It does seem like they didn't have a real fantasy.
Yeah, that's Brad. Of course, Brad is the white dude, and Brax is the Asian guy. That's Ryan Hansen and Jimmy O Yang. They didn't have they.
JD was his name.
Huh?
His name was JD.
JD
and Brax.
Oh, JD and Brax. I'm sorry, JD and Brax over there. Brax named after Space Ghost character and shit.
No, don't be petty.
No. Yeah, be petty as hell with this. Yeah, man. You know, I'm looking at this and like you watch this, you could tell and you could tell who the dumb motherfuckers when they get off the plane. Like everybody else is either uninteresting or bitchy and unlikable or just idiots like these two high-fiving and shit when they get off the plane. You know, you already. But I will tell you this, in their defense, I'm not gonna go through the whole explanation, but they're brothers and they have a very sweet relationship.
They do.
They're not as annoying as they start out. And I actually thought that the movie was cool for that.
I thought that too. When they start out, you're like, all right, these guys are
The
just
bros.
Like, yeah, the bros. But the longer it went on and you saw their relationship, it was like, you know, it's kind of fun hanging with these guys, at least watching them.
Even the predicament that they're in is stupid as but
right. Theirs is the comic relief fantasy.
I mean, to the point where it just affects the whole movie. The whole thing about this movie being a horror film, bullshit. This is not a horror movie, man.
That's the thing I thought. This keeps happening a lot where things are marketed as horror movies, and the audience comes out mad. You're like, man, that wasn't scary. And it's like, yeah, because the marketers kind of fucked you over. This is really not much of a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie, man. This is a PG-13 fantasy at best. Ooh. It's a PG-13 fantasy that has extremely soft touches of horror. Mm-hmm. Very soft. I'm talking about, ow. You know?
Yeah.
It really.
It's not gory. It's not scary.
Not at all. You know, the some of the things that they have in here, one of the worst touches of horror that they have in here is a big old muscle-bound dude that looks like a surgeon. Right here with his mouth shut tight. That comes from sewn up right there. They call him Dr. Torture. And this mother, yeah,
hey man, they spent a lot of time coming up with that name.
They said like Dr. Torture.
Wow,
you can tell by the scrubs right there. Yeah. And he is something straight out of Goosebumps. Mm-hmm. You know, seriously, I'm not lying.
Yeah,
if you watch the Goosebumps movie, he should be walking right with them creatures and everything. I expect a Slappy to show up. Start talking shit.
I like my islands.
Yeah. Every now and then in the movie, there's a slime dude that you get glimpses of, and you're thinking, okay, now we getting somewhere at the hard part of this, but even that ends up being stupid when you find out what the whole story behind that is. It was dumb. When that's finished, when you find out what's happening, you're like, well, that's fucking dumb, right there. And you know what? Is at this point that I thought this should have been a parody of Fantasy Island. Because nobody wanted this, man. This is a 40-year-old property that wasn't even that cool back in the day. It was popular because a midget said the plane, you know, and they had a cool ass Latin dude in there. But this should have been a parody. This could have made a fun comedy spoofing Fantasy Island. Like Martin was saying, the show back in the day, what they did was on that show, it was all about bringing people to the island. And they might have some edgy moments, some supernatural moments, but it's all about love.
Yeah,
you know,
most of the time it was
family members or something like that, looking for forgiveness,
or just getting taught a lesson.
Getting taught,
this is what you thought you wanted, and this is how it worked out, and now you get to go home and think about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what if they had made a spoof or a comedy where people come in with these fantasies and they go horribly wrong? You could have made this like a horror comedy, or you could have made it just straight up comedy, not even with the horror, just making fun of Fantasy Island.
Sure.
21 Jump Street, this shit probably.
Right. The only thing I think about is Fantasy Island is so old. You'd be making a parody of something, people will go like, I don't know what this is referencing.
It's true.
And that's another thing. Only if you find something inspirational with this. And it was inspired to make this a horror flick, but you didn't push it hard enough in the horror area. This has meaning for no one.
It wants to be everything, but ends up being none of those things.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it wants to be everything, but it's trying to be at least two different, maybe even three different things.
And there's nothing there for anyone. You know, this is too soft for horror fans. There's a drop of blood. There's no gore. There's no scares. It's PG-13, but kids are like, I don't know what the this is,
right.
You know, unless you really have an idea that works for bringing it back. But they don't have that here. Why would kids, our teens care to see this? It's too lame for the older crowd because it's like, well, y'all just made something completely different from what I remember, and I ain't watched this since I was a kid or 40 years ago. I don't know what we're watching this for. It's not having fun with the original concept too much.
Right.
None of the comedy works really at all. So you're left with something here that's for no one. This isn't for anyone at all. And at first I was mad with this because I'm like, well, shit, this is so nothing for anyone that I'm upset. I can't even make fun of this. It's too dull to make fun of.
Oh no, that's the worst.
It is.
It's not even unintentionally funny.
No,
I mean, it's not unintentionally funny. And there's times they are cracking jokes where a lot of jokes fall flat, but every so often some will hit. Mostly when it's with the two brothers.
It's so dull. I'm sitting up there and I'm like, well, you're giving me nothing to work with here. How dare you? I'm mad.
Wow.
I mean, what am I supposed to do with this if I can't talk shit about this movie? And then
it granted your fantasy.
And then my fantasies came true. My boy came out the jungle. Michael Rookie said, wait a minute, I got you. Man, when Mike... Because before, it was extremely mediocre at best, and Michael Rooker said, I got you. I got you, boy.
Right.
Boy, when Michael Rooker came in, because I saw him creeping earlier.
Yeah.
I said, is that Michael Rooker? Hey, who are you, man? And he just ran off. I said, is that Michael Rooker back there? I didn't even see him in the advertising. Because they tried to actually they tried to keep his role in the movie a secret. They tried to keep a surprise while he's there, keep him in the trailers. Because when we do find out what he's there for, it's completely dumb. And when he enters the picture, that motherfucker opens up a floodgate of stupid. It's when a whole movie falls out in the best way. It's just like stupidity is raining on me. And I'm like, yes!
There it is.
Yes! Soak it up. Man...
Because up to that point, it's just an episode of Fantasy Island, which you watch and you realize, oh yeah, that show really wasn't very good, and they're being faithful. So I don't know how much I can be mad at them. And he drops in. That's when the other screenwriters came in and said, wait, we can't just keep it at this. I got something.
Nice.
That dude, Michael Rooker, came crashing through and made that whole movie fall apart. And not that there was much there, but it was safe. Look, the movie was safe in his own little mediocre zone. Mm-hmm. But this fool came in, the moment he explained why he was there, I was like, that's stupid. Let me tell you why this man was there. It's like, what are you doing here? Why are you following us? What are you doing? And he's actually helping them out because he knows the true nature of the island. Why? Because my man he says, and the way they sell these lines too, because sometimes maybe you can make something work, but you say your line so quick, it just sounds dumb. Yeah, girls, I'm a private investigator sitting here from another rich guy to find out the secret of the island. But I couldn't leave because the island had a hold on me because of my own fantasies. And now I'm here to help other people get off. Because apparently you can't help yourself. I mean, he's just as dirty. I mean, he spends the rest of the movie walking the jungle looking like a homeless man. And I'm like, man, I've seen water on this island. You could at least splash your face. You know?
It did seem like he came in just to say, hey, I brought a box that I got from the TV show Lost, and I want to dump some of that in here.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have any of that until suddenly he comes up with his explanations. And it's one of those movies where the more it explains itself, the more you're going, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't, just stop talking.
Do you ever notice that the show Fantasy Island never explained how people got these fantasies? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because when they start to explain shit, then that's when logic starts kicking in. It's like, okay, if you're going to explain that, you already laid some shit down. It's like this island where nobody can get on the island without permission. There's no exceptions. This fool got on easy. And his goddamn Garanimal shirt right there shit. This fool, he got on the island as a private investigator. And at the island, why you need to be a private investigator to get on there? Because apparently it's open to the public. People found out about this shit. They Grouponed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a whole Reddit on this island.
It's a Reddit on the island. People leaving Yelp reviews and shit. This is a magical island where people are Yelping it. It makes no sense. Once we start doing this, like, well, how did you even build this shit? Because the island, it says when anybody gets here, the island has a hold over their fantasies. It's like, well, how did people come in here and do plumbing? How are people stocking the bar and the restaurant?
That's where it slips into lost territory.
Yeah.
This island is magical, and it just does
You can just do anything. Well, we can just pull anything out of our ass.
Oh, Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. I know some things you're supposed to say, well, don't ask questions, but God damn it, I'm going to ask questions. You know, all this stupidity that comes in, man. You know, we get into, the movie gets dumber when he gets in. That's when we start getting into things like, what's the source of the island's powers? And it's like, don't explain this shit. I'm gonna tell you what it is anyway. I don't care because it makes no sense. Apparently, the source of the island's power is, and this is why you don't need to explain. You either have to explain further or shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's a rock that needs water. It requires to always be water so it can produce this black goo that somehow provides the source to produce these non-existent people.
It's a crystal similar to what you might see in Superman the movie, where you look into it and see your fantasies, and the waters from it allow, if you drink it, that allows your fantasies to happen. What?
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You think it's a hallucination that but no. The thing is they have this goo that either produces people out of thin air, like dead people or people that are alive but far away. It recreates them and makes them act normal, or it recreates what looks like normal acting people who are eventually zombies.
Wow.
Yeah.
And everybody sees these creatures, so it's not like all this shit. I'm just on an LSD trip. The movie does not follow rules.
No, because sometimes that black goo can make a copy of you, just because.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, when not even a real explanation behind that. And yet the island can do all this, but Mr. Rourke can send goons to kidnap you from your apartment off the island
to bring you back to the island, so that when other people get there, he already knows what their fantasies are and everything. You know, there's one of the funniest fantasies in here that goes straight out, just ridiculous horror, is your boy JD and Brax over here. They end up, I gotta tell you, this is some funny shit, man. They end up getting chased by zombie cartel members. We turn to some Abbott and Costello Three Stooges shit. Yeah. And the funny thing is, they shoot like they real cartel dangerous people, but when they stop shooting, they start. It's like, this is dumb. Yeah. This is stupid. Wow. I mean, it's kind of okay that because we're dealing with the comedy aspect of the story, but then the other characters start coming in. It's like all of this is crashing. You know, I was letting y'all ride on mediocre, but y'all done everything up here. Y'all are just stupid. This is just stupid. You're not working with me anymore. You brought this on yourself. Everything that everybody's gonna say about you, you brought on yourself. You did this. Remember this. You know, it's like I said, it doesn't make sense. One fantasy per customer, one fantasy per visitor. They ignore that later on in the movie.
Boy, they start playing Uno with that.
They should do. They should do. Hey, look, when I tell you that this is not a horror movie, it's not even a movie. To be honest with you, it's a TV show and a bad one. This is a bad TV reboot of a show that would have been taken off after 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, on the CW, it might have gone a season. Might
have gone a season, but if it stayed long enough,
would have had to had more teenagers in it though.
If it stayed long enough to, if it stayed long enough to like actually get to the point, like if after episode 2 or 3 they got to the point where we're on the 3rd act of this, that shit's gonna be gone. It's gonna be right up there with quickly gone and forgotten TV show reboots like this one. Whoa. People like, whoa, wait a minute. Even the narrator like, whoa, wait a minute. We had another reboot season of Charlie's Angels.
Did we?
You don't remember? See, it was gone after 4 episodes.
Oh, yeah, it would have been like that.
It would have been like that. It would have been the Fantasy Island reboot that people have forgotten, except for when somebody brings it up on a show like ours or something and laughs at it.
They could do the reboot ABC Saturday night, because Charlie's Angels, I think it came out on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But it was one of those airing spelling shows. The Charlie's Angels, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island. There was a couple more, but airing spelling was all over these shows.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And if you had a series that was just every week, it was a different one of those, you could probably play it out for a while. Where, at least get a whole season out of it before it got canceled, before people caught on.
No, that's true. I'm gonna spoil this for y'all. Y'all stick around. I don't want for that one guy who doesn't want to have Fantasy Island spoiled for him. We'll give the rating and then move on. I will tell you though, this movie at least had one impressive accomplishment, and that is that it is a lot worse than the director's last movie.
Something really weird has been going on ever since Mexico. Truth or dare.
Maybe they're about even. I don't know.
He does love Lucy Hale.
Yeah, this is Truth or Dare. Jeff Wadlow, man. I think that this might just be because Truth or Dare was not good, but they had a theme that they kind of stuck to. It was dumb, but they stuck to that. This movie's all over the place. He made a worse movie than this, and this was the year that this came out. That was probably in the top 3 of worst horror movies to come out that year. I saw it; it was pretty bad. And again, starring Lucy Hale. Yeah, man. Like I say, a bunch of questions here. The island is so mysterious and it's playing on people's fantasies. How does any of this stuff even work? There's logistical questions here with all that. Maybe in a better movie they could explain it later, but once shit starts getting dumb, it's like you ain't got no answers for that.
It's better than not explain it.
Don't say shit at all. Don't introduce enough elements to where you start questioning logical reasons for this island to exist. It's a very mediocre movie. It's for preteens who, for whatever reason, their parents are not letting them watch horror movies, and this is the closest thing that y'all can do. When they have church lock-ins, it'll be a good lesson as to where your dark fantasies could take you.
Yes, yeah,
yes. But other than that, it's some old bullshit. It's straight up some old bullshit. So.
I didn't hate it like you did.
I don't hate it. I'm just telling you. I mean, hey, listen, I don't have to hate something. I'm just telling you like it is. Movie ain't worth my time to hate enough. I'm just saying the movie's it's a badly written, badly executed. It's a stupid film. And I can sit up here and be like, man, smiles, everyone. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's there. Because it's forgettable. That's the thing. So it's like, it's not hate. It's not even anger. It's just kind of like, yeah, you're just a bad movie.
I didn't hate it where I was thought, this is some old bullshit. I was like, all right, these characters seemed annoying at first, and then the longer it went on, I was like, all right, they're not so bad. And everything you're saying is correct. It just hit me as like, this is just it's Fantasy Island. It's actually, I give it props for being more accurate than it should be, because it reminded me like, yeah, that show, it was all in the gimmick of the opening and the setup, and then I remember whenever I would watch an episode, I would get bored in the middle of it. I don't even know how many I actually finished or just watched all the way through. And this is so much of that. And Michael Rooker comes in, changes the direction, and it starts to get stupid. And like, all right, well, okay, it's not what it was, but whatever. It's still Fantasy Island. And I thought, rental, whatever. It's like a TV show. That's what it gets. And then that last 15 minutes comes on. And that's when it said, man, come on now. Because what happens is they throw in, I'd read this before going to see it, where somebody wrote, man, it's got a gut buster of a twist at the end. So I was like, all right, well, I got to, because I thought if this is bad, I'm going to leave early so I can come over here. But I was like, well, I'm going to have to read this. I got to see what that ending is. Oh my God, that's a doozy. It screams, this movie was done and in the can, and somebody came back and said, nope, I want to write a twist for this. And if that wasn't enough, I'm not going to say what it is, but oh my God, that thing they do at the very end, I was like, that's the problem with this movie. It's too fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
It's so all throughout it's cheesy, and then it saves the biggest hunk of of Limburger cheese for the very end. Like you're trying to get up and leave, and he goes, You hate me yet? Man, no, I just want to go home. I know, but what if I give you this? No, you're like, I'm just trying to leave. Come on. That last 15 minutes turned it into some old bullshit.
Yeah. All right. Y'all want to hear spoilers for this movie right here?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it to you real quick. So let me just kind of tell you why this ending is so bad. And here's the reason why, because it tries to have this twist. And when people try to force a twist a lot of times, if you haven't laid out everything to work towards that ending, if it's some bullshit you just got to force towards that ending, it ain't going to work. So the big twist here, which falls flat completely and destroys everything, and it was already burning.
It's already dead.
I got this bucket of water. I can put it out. No, that's gasoline.
Yeah, the house is in flames. This chick comes in and just pours gasoline on this shit. The bullied girl. What's her name?
Lucy Hale.
Lucy Hale. So the girl that's there for revenge, she's there for revenge on her tormentor. Now it turns out that she's not really there to get revenge on. She's not really there to get revenge on the girl that tortured her. Which we saw. What's that girl's name?
Portia Doubleday.
Portia Doubleday. Yeah, she's not there to get revenge on Portia Doubleday. It's a little bit there, but her revenge is to actually go in and get revenge on everybody.
Everybody.
All the guests. And why does she want that? Because now here's the thing, people. Why does she want revenge on everybody? She wants revenge because her fantasy is to get revenge on the people that kept her date from showing up for dinner because he died in a fire. Now, how does this make any difference with all these other people in here? Well, that's because all these folks had something to do with the death of that guy. Maggie Q in the movie, she's the one that accidentally started the fire.
Accidentally.
She accidentally started the fire. The soldier guy, Austin, Stowell, he wouldn't help her break down the door to save the guy.
Right. He's a cop, and he was like, I'm looking at that fire, and I think we ought to wait for the fire department.
Yeah, he's like,
I ain't looking to die over this.
And you can tell he's a character. Like, yeah, we should wait for the fire department. Yeah. So he wouldn't help her break down the door. Here's where it gets funny. Poor JD and Brax, they didn't even do anything. They just ran out the building. What anybody would do. They didn't have anything to do with this shit at all.
They thought the dude was out on his date.
Yeah, they didn't know. Poor JD and Brax didn't do shit.
And from that logic, how many other people were around who didn't help?
So all these motherfuckers got invited to Fantasy Island. Wow. Just so they could give this bitch her fantasy. And let me tell you something. The thing that doesn't make sense with that is that how the fuck did she get 2 fantasies when they told people they had 1? Her first fantasy was for the bully. She got there for that, but then she gets the bonus when they torture everybody.
See, she somehow wrapped it all in, well, the bully made me feel bad, which is why I canceled the date. And the bully made me, way back in high school, the bully made me feel bad about myself. It made me insecure, so that's why I stood him up on the date.
Man, that's crazy.
That is a huge thing. Yeah,
so she should kill herself as well.
And they say she's crazy because, like she said, when I talked to the guy online, he was the first guy that made me feel like I wasn't ugly, like I was all right, like I was somebody wanted, and you made me miss my Tinder date. God damn you. Fantasy Island, help me!
And as dumb as all that is, they undercut it further by somebody looking on her phone and going like, oh, she only had 1 date with this guy.
Yeah. And I had to tell you that because they even played that up like a da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, they did.
The chat is like, I knew it. 1 date. Be like, boo. Oh, and you guessed it. Here's the big twist right here. When everybody's gone, the only way, in the middle of it, the cartel kills JD. The brother kills JD.
Oh, no.
But in order to bring JD back, the island will give, apparently it's like a genie. They'll give Brax one wish. But, there's a sacrifice. There's a give and take, a quid pro quo, if you will. Yeah, I can bring your bro back. But if that's the case, you got to stay on the island forever.
Yeah, he's only back as long as you stay here.
So throughout the movie, they've been calling him, hey, Tat, hey, stop calling me that nickname. Stop calling me. That's a stupid nickname. I don't like that. You learn later, it's like Mr. Rourke says, because Braxton's like, well, I'm stuck here with your ass now, your shabby looking ass. What am I going to do? He's like, well, now you work for me. You know, by the way, what was that crazy nickname that they gave you? What was the tattoo that you were so ashamed of? And it's literally spelled tattooed. He's like, that has flash. We'll take that. You will now be known as Tattoo, the Asian tattoo.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like, God damn it.
So this is Tattoo's origin.
Yeah. I was getting up to leave, and you had to just kick me in the ass one more time.
It was his origin story. The entire
origin
time.
of tattoo, right there, man.
That's cool.
Right there.
I learned something.
Asian tattoo. He even says, we'll have to get you a suit.
He spends the whole movie, every time his brother JD calls him T, he's like, man, don't call me that. I hate that shit. Don't call me that. So now he's got to work for a guy who's going to call him Tattoo.
That's his punishment.
Every day.
Wow.
You work for me now. You must own it.
By the way, I wish for you to be a midget.
Now I would have been impressed by that. They actually turned him into a midget.
That would have been cool.
That would have been like,
I would have given that movie a rental. I would have been like, man, all right, that's crazy.